What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and I have to admit that I'm a little bit excited for the next Call of Duty game. World War II is an era that we don't get to go back to very often, and I'm really hyped. It seems like something that's just kind of retro in a way. That's where some of the earliest 3D shooters took place, and going back there is a real treat. But this morning, I decided to go onto some of the forums and see what other fans are talking about, to see if the community is as excited as I am. And it turns out that for the most part, people are quite upset because it turns out that they're implementing microtransactions. Apparently, the last two games also had it. So I wanted to dig a little bit deeper, and I found out that the last two games, just the previous two microtransaction-filled Call of Duty games, made $3.6 billion on loot crates. 3.6 billion with a B. Billions of dollars. This is a number that is just stunning to me. It is so enormous that it is beyond fathomable. Activision is a company that's already quite large and powerful, but making billions of dollars off of trying to trick people into getting extra items is ridiculous. Now, the reason I use trick specifically is I feel like they're trying to prey on people's psychology. They're trying to make this stuff not just pay to win, but like gambling. They want to get you addicted to buying these crates. Here recently, I've been reading Jane McGonigal's book, Reality is Broken. It's kind of about how the brain functions when it comes to video games, and it's a really great book, but one thing that really struck me is she breaks down how gaming is fun. The fact that you can play something that doesn't really have a way to win, like Tetris. It doesn't have a goal. The idea is just break blocks, get points, but it can still make you want to play for hundreds and hundreds of hours. Or you can play World of Warcraft, where you and thousands of other players are trying to slay these gigantic bosses, and still get that same sort of high out of the game. Across every different genre, there's an audience that's engaged and willing to interact with these games, and it's because of the idea of work. Now, I mean that from the scientific sense. People like to feel like they're accomplishing something while they're in a digital world. It rewards your brain to think that you've done something big and impossible. You know, saving Princess Peach. It's not just that you managed to clear all these gaps and crush King Koopa's skull. It's a fact that you accomplished something. You passed a goal that was very difficult. It's a concept that seems so obvious, and it's the reason I think stuff like Final Fantasy has been so astronomically successful over the years, because each individual dungeon is a small set of objectives. Beat this boss, gain some levels, get some loot, keep going. Well, microtransactions and loot crates specifically are trying to fill in that gap. They are actually trying to fit these into the part of your brain that makes you think you're accomplishing something. There is a certain type of people that get really addicted to gambling in casinos. I don't really get it. Thankfully, I've never had that part of I've never had that habit. But there's typically two types of gamblers, passive and active. These are the type of people who basically sit at slot machines. They just want to sit there and have random probability. You pull a lever and it tells you whether you've won or whether you lost. However, active gamblers are people who go and do stuff like roulette wheels. They go to the blackjack table. They want to feel like they have some sort of control over the probability, being able to win the game despite the odds. This is the type of gambler that they're clearly trying to make in gaming. They want audiences, both 13 to 30, to actually go into these games and think that they can win something that can't be won. Probability-wise, everything in these loot crates is going to be basically meaningless. 1% of 1% will end up having some giant super gun, but for the most part, everybody buying these things is just going to be getting really crappy weed skins and stuff like that. But they want you to get addicted to the chase. They want to make a new style of fun that makes you think that spending cash and getting an item, no matter what it is just as rewarding as playing the game itself. It's so toxic in my opinion. This is a total cancer because it's showing that they're not even worried as much about making the game super fun in the typical sense. They're trying to make the game engaging. So much so that you don't want to put it down. So much so that you don't mind paying again and again for the experience that you're already invested in. It genuinely scares me, the idea of just spending more and more money, of games all becoming free to play even if you have to pay $60 to buy it. You know, the reason I'm picking on Call of Duty specifically is that it has loot crates with the best weapons in the game inside them. Guns that can't be gotten with in-game currency. You actually have to spend real money in order to get them. That's a little bit different than games like Fortnite. Now, I've ripped into this game a lot because I think that specifically it's a pay-to-progress game and it isn't advertised as such. Your guns in this slowly break down and they can't be repaired. Therefore, as you get further into the game, you'll get some randomized loot crates, but eventually you're going to want to buy some. You're going to want to buy some premium packs, the way you can get that bigger sniper rifle to kill that bigger boss and be the hero of your team. It's trying to fit into that part of your brain that thinks that you're accomplishing something impossible, that you've done something no one else can, but it's not because of your skill, it's not because of your patience, it's because of your credit card. Stuff like Gears of War is also trying to do this. I follow Gears of War on Twitter, and if you look at their page, every single weekend they're tweeting out that it's going to be bonus XP and new skin packs. They're really pushing the idea of this as an esport, and every single esport team gets a dedicated set of skins that, of course, need to be purchased with actual money. Which means if you want to support your favorite leagues and make sure that this can continue to exist as an esport, once again, you're buying stuff to think you're accomplishing stuff. You're trying to be pushed into buying something, just like the gambler is afraid of leaving the table even if he already knows that he's lost too much. Well guys, these have just been my really random off-the-cuff thoughts. It's just, I am so disturbed by the idea that they've made $3.6 billion on just loot crates. That is way too much, and it shows that more companies are going to be doing that. If they see that the money is that easy, and if you build a system just right, you can make extra millions and billions of dollars, others are going to follow suit. Every game that can do this will do this. Don't let yourself be deceived. Times like this, I kind of miss the classic Doom. Stuff like that, where you bought the disc, you put it in your console, and you went on an epic adventure. At the end, the world was saved, you felt like you'd done something awesome, and you really got to listen to some great music in the process. Now, I just feel like that is long gone. Let me know your thoughts on this topic because it's just so complex. It's not quite black and white. These people aren't just being manipulated, they think that they're doing the right thing. A lot of times, people even defend this group even if they're not part of it. Personally, I'm on the other side of the fence. I think that this is dirty business. This is trying to get people to buy and buy and buy even if they're actually tired of the product. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I'm actually sputtering over words like, I'm sputtering over my words like an idiot. Whatever. Thank you for watching, seriously. And here's a random fact. This is my favorite shirt. I'm obsessed with the color purple. And it was a total dumpster fire. Oh, hi. I'm just working on the next video. If you want to see what it is, go ahead and click this button and you can subscribe. Also, if you click these video links, you can see my latest review and my latest top 10. Now I'm just going to sit here for a minute and wait for you to subscribe. Oh, I guess I could put on these giant glasses. I literally found these on a roller coaster.